leading the participants in this game onto the ice, the officiating crew. Dag Olsen of Sweden, with linesman Jeff Schell of the United States and Hidenori Nakaoka of Japan. And there have been 6 penalties assessed against Canada, 2 against the Soviet Union. And starting the third period, both teams will be a man short, with Sandlak in the penalty box for Canada and in the penalty box for the Soviet Union, Sergei Salyanin. The only goal of the second period was scored by the youngest member of this Soviet team, Sergei Osipov. That came at the 2:05 mark, the go-ahead goal. It was tied at 1 after 20 minutes. And the Soviets outshot Canada 8-5 in the second period for an overall total of 21-16.
Don, we talk about shots on goal. Thus far in the tournament, the Soviets have averaged 36 a game. The Canadians have averaged 45 a game. And to this point, the Soviets have had a total of 21, the Canadians 16. But the Canadians, not many good scoring chances during that second period. And remember, in essence, the tie is important here, because if they do tie and then win their next outing, that goals for and against really means something. And they're well ahead of the Soviets in that department. Oh, look at this.
Well, I think we may get an opportunity to visit with that man after the hockey game. Don Cherry signing autographs.
He was telling me that they line up to sign autographs or get Don Cherry's autograph. It doesn't look like that much of a lineup to me. Quite a character, isn't he?
He's dressed rather conservatively tonight as well. I wonder what Grates thinks of this hockey game. You know, over the years, if he looked at some of the talent that has been named to the All-Star teams in World Junior Championship play, he would certainly be impressed. I think perhaps the best line of any year was back in 1978. The left winger that year was Anton Stasny of Czechoslovakia. The right winger was Mats Nasman from Sweden. And the center, number 99 from the Edmonton Oilers. Not a bad trio.
It's amazing. You think of Wayne Gretzky with the all-time scoring leadership for the Canadians in World Tournament play, Junior Tournament play. Dale McCourt actually leads Gretzky. Overall, Dale McCourt now playing hockey in Switzerland.
Well, a number of the players who have been chosen to the first or second All-Star team in World Junior Championship play since the tournament was officially sanctioned by the International Hockey Federation in 1977. From Sweden, Finland, Czechoslovakia, and of course Canada and the United States are now playing in the National Hockey League.
That's right. You think of people like Dana Merzen. He's still of junior age. He's playing in Hartford. He would have certainly helped the Canadian defense. Stéphane Richer, centerman for Montreal. They were thinking about trying to get him to play here, and because since he's not, Mike Stapleton has had a chance to play and played so very well for the Canadian club. The Czechoslovakians could have had Peter Svoboda. He also plays with Montreal. That's how young he is. A lot of young talent around these days.
Well, only one player from the Soviet squad has been drafted by a National Hockey League team. And in the 11th round last year, the Washington Capitals selected Mikhail Katarinov. And we had an interesting session this morning with David Coyle, the general manager of the Washington Capitals, and we were talking with Larry Szynski of the Hamilton Spectator, the hockey writer, who spent 5 weeks over in the Soviet Union and Czechoslovakia and has the advantage of being able to speak the Soviet language. He interviewed many of the players, and he was telling Coyle at lunch that he had spoken with Tatarinov, and Tatarinov had said that he definitely would like to play in the National Hockey League. And Coyle said, I'm in room 916. If you can figure out how to get him to Washington, what position would you like in our organization?
That's how much the Washington Capitals think of the talents of Tatarinov. The only team in this tournament without an NHL draft choice on the team is Switzerland. West Germany has 1 draft, and that's a player drafted by the Calgary Flames, a player by the name of Ronberg. The Swedes, I believe, have 10 on their squad. The Canadians, there's only 3 that aren't. Of course, 1 on the Russian squad, as you mentioned. So lots of NHL scouts here drooling over some of the finest talent in the world in this tournament.
But some of the fine talent wearing that red uniform is inaccessible.
Yeah. There's not much chance that number 3 for the Soviet Union is going to be able to go play in North America. Never say never, Don, but not much chance.
59 seconds remaining in the penalty to Sandlak. 32 seconds in the penalty to Salyanin. From the face-off, right at the side of the net, they bang away. Battleshaken was down, but the puck moved out of danger, and the Soviets bring it out into the center ice area. Now it's fired in by Conroy. Corson stops it along the boards. Back to the net for Conroy to Corson. Corson tried to get it over to Selmar Odeline. It was knocked down and dumped to the corner. Cleared out into the center ice area. Viveros is back for Canada. He plays it over to Odeline. Cleared out, and is that the fire alarm I hear in the Cops Coliseum in Hamilton? I hope it is a false alarm.
They're trying to get the attention of those players down there in the red uniforms.
Well, we have been close to fireworks a couple of times in the playing of this gold medal game. Seaman with a shot. What a blast. Off the glass and wide. Tatarina had it knocked away. Here's a 2-on-1 for Canada. Scott Mellanby across the line. Good back-checking by Osipov as he took the puck away from him. Tremendous speed for many of these Russian players coming to the fore in the second and now in the third period. Fedotov in his own zone gets it ahead to Kamensky. Turgeyev back to Kamensky at the line. Got it to Turgeyev. He took a shot. It went wide. Back to the net, trying to dig it out for Osipov, and he was tied up by Kartner, and Canada comes back, led by Robitaille. Robitaille working back to the net, right out in front in the crease. Belosheikin held on with Mellanby looking for that loose puck, and now Mellanby and Fedotov do some pushing after the whistle.
Fedotov put the headlock on Mellanby right in the goal crease, trying to clear him out.
18:12 is the time remaining in the third period. The Soviets leading Canada by 1. Is going to win a second straight gold medal. It's essential that they gain at least a tie in this game against the Soviet Union. A victory would assure a gold medal. If they tie, they would require a win against Czechoslovakia in the final game on Saturday. Davidov brings it out of his own zone. On the right side, ahead of the play was Kovalev.
Don, this is the second year Terry Simpson's been the head coach of Team Canada. I think there's finally a cheer. Maybe that siren's going to stop. But in Terry Simpson's 2 years, his win-loss record, he has 10 wins, no losses, and 2 ties. Of course, that loss record in jeopardy right now as his team is down 1 goal to the Soviets. But that is some record for international hockey.
To Odeline. Odeline fires it in. Keaton bumped in the corner by Murphy. Back to the point. Viveros. Viveros trying to play it in and hit the referee, Olsen, and is cleared out by the Soviets. Here's Davidov to the backhand. He looked after that, went after that rebound, and Billington managed to cover up.
A break for Davidov as he took that puck off the skate of the linesman and popped right out on his stick. Now watch him wait and wait and wait before he makes the play. He's considered by Central Scouting as one of the top 6 young Soviet players in the entire Soviet Union. Look at how he waits, delays, then makes a little play and gets at least a shot on goal, hoping for some sort of a rebound, etc. Billington stood up and played it well. Davidov has a lot of skills.
From the face-off, Kartner goes back of his own net. Passes to Conroy. Conroy is hit by Konstantinov, and he is hurt. Conroy is down. There's no whistle. Conroy is back at his own blue line, and finally, Olsen blows the whistle. But Conroy took a tremendous hit in the center ice area from Konstantinov.
Konstantinov was set for the body check more so than Conroy was. Now watch Konstantinov get good size, and he puts a shoulder right into young Al Conroy. I don't know if he had the wind knocked out of him there or not. It looked like a shoulder right into that chest. Nonetheless, it was some body check by Konstantinov.
Well, Conroy gives away 20 pounds to his Soviet rival, as Conroy is 5'7", 165 pounds. He plays for the Medicine Hat Tigers, and Konstantinov is 6 feet, 190 pounds. So make a 25 pounds weight differential.
The nickname of that Konstantinov is grandfather. He's so young that they call him the old man of the team, but he's some hockey player.
I believe in the Soviet what they call it.
Diet. D-Y-E-T, I think.
From the face-off, a shot right on by Moylan. It goes to the corner now up along the boards, and the Soviets bring it out. Pass broken up by Cote. Alain Cote knocking it down at his own line. Now he brings it out for Canada. He warms up. Vicious blast sailed over top of that Soviet. Now here's Hyderov breaking away on the right side. Hyderov, and some good work by Stapleton to get back to get into the play, and Stapleton is hurt as he's down back of that Canadian goal, and again a delay in that whistle being blown, and Stapleton appears to be in a lot of pain. He crashed heavily into those end boards as he made a determined effort to get back and knock the puck away from Hyderov.
He had no control when he slid into the boards, Don, and sometimes if your sticks get out ahead of you or there was other players, other objects meet the boards and come back, go right into your body, and he's in considerable pain. What an effort he made to catch the Soviet player to break up the play. Just put his head down, skated as hard as he could, and got back and made the play. Now, he was holding his upper chest around his throat. You can see the pain etched on his face underneath that visor, trying to get his wind there, obviously. Breathing in and out, trying to relax a bit. What a play he made. Watch him put his head down, turn it on, time his dive perfectly, and knock the feet out from the Soviet player, Hyderov. Look at how he swept the puck before he knocked the player down to stay away from an injury, or away from a penalty. Now watch as he heads into the boards. He goes in head first as he was on the ice. No chance of trying to control that smashing meeting with the boards. Boy, that has to be some honor for Mike Stapleton to be drafted by the Chicago Blackhawks, where his dad spent the majority of his great National League years. He's an interesting kid. He says his dad didn't push him into hockey, which was great, but his dad certainly helped him when he decided he wanted to play hockey. And that's quite a compliment for his father.
He's one of the smaller members of this Canadian team at 5 feet 10 inches, 175 pounds. He works in the family farm in the summer months.
You bet. He and his brother sort of taken over the farm from his father. You know, you have to remember, if this game ends up in a tie, which it hasn't yet, of course, they still have to play on Saturday afternoon, and they need healthy bodies to play. Look at they'll watch as he makes the play. Watch, there's the collision of everybody. Now they're going to separate, and watch Stapleton come right through the middle of everybody, head first into the boards, and he's gone off. Boy, the glass really rebounded back, didn't it? Quite a force.
You get an indication from the way that glass was vibrating as to how hard they hit the boards.
He's not going to the dressing room. He's gone right to the bench. Dr. Rudy Gittens from Ottawa trying to help Mike Stapleton find out what the problem is, and hopefully it's just a problem with his breathing.
The time remaining, 16:42 in this third period. They do not play overtime in the World Junior Championships. Emotions have been running high from the outset of this hockey game. Selmar Odeline has it poked away. Viveros retreats into his own zone. Hits one of the officials with that lead pass. And now the Soviets try and get something going. Odeline breaks it up in the center ice area. Pass deflected ahead, too far for Neuendijk. Osipov has it. He gets it over on the right side to Torgeyev. He gets away from Corson, going to the corner. Now Corson catches up with him and takes him into the boards. Sandlak unable to clear the shot right on from Kratchuk, and it's deflected by Bullington. Comes back into the neutral zone, and Nikitin takes it back into his own zone, goes rink wide to Kratchuk. Kratchuk shoots it down the ice. This will be an icing infraction against the Soviets. 15:55 is the time remaining in the third period. We'll have a face-off in the Soviet zone in this gold medal battle between Canada and the Soviet Union. That's the number of people in attendance tonight here at the Copps Coliseum in Hamilton. And they were selling tickets outside the building about an hour before the game for as much as $100.
That'll be more than, by the time the attendance figures come in for the tournament, they'll double what they had in Finland last year.
The biggest crowd in Finland was for the game between Finland and Canada, with 8,000 in attendance. Loose puck in the Soviet zone. Finally, it's picked up by Davidov. He lost it. Murphy has it for Canada. Murphy still controlling it to the side of the goal, and Duras was tied up. Greenlaw let a backhand go wide. Murphy in the corner tried to play it back to the point. It hit the boards and did not come all the way back. Now the Soviets work along the board. They bring it in across the line. Here's the shot, and that was deflected by Billington. On the right side for Duras. Duras over on the left side to Greenlaw. Greenlaw with the shot, and that is deflected by Beloshakin up into the crowd and out of play.
This is the time of the hockey game where somebody has to emerge as a leader, as a star. Beloshakin has lots of experience.
Well, we'll see the performance of that Canadian men's team on Sports Weekend on Saturday afternoon from Schladming, Austria, immediately following our coverage of the final game in this World Junior Tournament involving Canada and Czechoslovakia. Fedotov gives it into the corner to Tatharinov. Long lead pass from Konstantinov. That almost looked as though it crossed two lines. It almost appeared he was offside, but there was no whistle. Kapenko out front. Meekin was tied up back to the line. A shot just wide by Tatharinov, and there's a Canadian player down once again and again. A long delay before Dag Olsen blows the whistle.
I think there, Don, he was thinking that the Soviet players had control of the puck, and he was waiting for a Canadian to touch it, but once it was out over the blue line, it was no harm for anybody, but it's Selmar Odeline down. Now, he went into the boards with the Soviet player after a loose puck, and he sort of stopped funny. Now, he's had that bad knee, and I don't know if that is this problem right now or if that's when it happened, but he did not come out of the corner. Now, watch him stop and turn in an awkward position as they try to get to that puck. Look at his knees. Now, he bangs into the boards heavily. Now, I don't know if he's already hurt himself or what. He's gotten up now. He, too, may have winded himself when he went heavily into the boards backwards, Don. He's being helped off the ice. Appears to be all right.
Well, everyone anticipated that this would be a very physical hockey game, and indeed it has. And most people were correct in assuming as well that the Soviets would give as much as they would take.
Oh, absolutely. That was another part of the scouting report. Carl Friesen, the trainer from Saskatoon, having his hands full here in the third period.
Odeline missed 2.5 months of the season with the Regina Pass as a result of that knee injury. The puck kept in by Canada in front of the net, and Sandlak could not get his stick on it. He was tied up initially, and then when he finally touched it, it was deflected over the glass out of play.
Close checking in front of that Soviet goal. Every time the Canadians try to get a loose puck, somebody's on them immediately all the time. You know, Gump Worsley talked about the Red Army game in Montreal. He said it started at high speed, it ended at high speed. Now watch Sandlak try to get control of it before it's deflected. The defenseman stays right with him, Fedotov. This Red Army team here, too, Don, they haven't slowed down at all. They're keeping that speed up, as are the Canadians.
It's offside at the Soviet line. We'll have a face-off just outside the Soviet blue line with 14:20 remaining in this third period. You were commenting this morning on the curve on the blade of many of those Soviet sticks. Do you think there is a possibility Canada might call it late in the game?
Well, watching the Red Army play, a lot of their sticks were certainly over a half-inch. The rules here say in this tournament, nothing over a half-inch, very similar to the National Hockey League rules, but the coaching staff for the Canadian team were looking around. They especially looked at the goal stick of Beloshakin. They feel the blade itself is too wide. You're allowed 3.5 inches, and I think that's well over 3.5 inches.
Puck along the boards in the Soviet zone. Sandlak again steps into a Soviet player and sends Seamak flying. Now it's Corson breaking in on the right side. Corson taking it against the boards. The puck is loose, and Seamak has it for the Soviet Union. To Nikonov, ahead to Hyderov, going in, he scores!
Big goal for the Soviet Union. There you see some emotion on the bench. This play deflects off, the puck deflects off somebody in that neutral zone, and in he goes on the breakaway. And Hyderov makes a good play. Now watch it come through the middle here, as Karkner can't find the puck. First of all, it goes off of Cote. In comes Kaidarov. Now watch Billington. He's out, but he collapses early and goes down early. And Kaidarov stayed out way above Billington and put it up over top of him. Look how far out Kaidarov is here before he makes his play. He's a good 6 feet away from the goaltender Billington, who went down a little early, up over top, and he capped off a good play. And look at the emotion, the young Soviet player.
So it's 3-1, the Soviet Union leading. They have scored a goal in each period. Seamak and Nikonov drawing assists on that goal by Hyderov. And again, the smoke detector, or whatever it is, has gone off here in the Copps Coliseum. It was sounding to start the period, and the fans applauded when it was finally shut off then, and they applaud again.
The fourth goal for Hyderov. Now let's see what Terry Simpson does. Is he going to go down to 3 lines? Is he going to go down to 2 lines while his team is down 2 goals? We'll have to wait and see. But Hyderov played on a line with CMAC for 7 years in Ufa, part of the Soviet Union. He's a good goal scorer, and he certainly showed it on that last play as he made it look rather easy. A lucky break for him as that puck went off of Cote, and he was there and jumped on that opportunity.
Loose puck in the Soviet zone. Going into the corner after it is Mellanby. Mellanby for Robitaille. Robitaille out front. He tried to jam it at the side of the net. Gets it again. Back to the line. Over the line. Takes the shot. It goes wide. And Katarinov brings it out for the Soviets. He shovels it ahead to his defensive partner, Fedotov, and it's fired into the Canadian zone. 12:54 remaining in the third. The Soviets leading 3-1.
Now look at the Soviets here, not forechecking deep at all, backing out, trying to force the Canadians in the neutral zone. Not forechecking deep now that they have that 2-goal lead.
Well, this is the point in the hockey game where the Canadian team will have to be much more aggressive in that offensive zone, trying to force the Soviets off the puck and into making errors. Mellanby in the corner. He's bumped there. Robitaille follows up, centered it, nobody in position, and the Soviets quite content to hammer it down the ice. This will be an icing call with 12:21 remaining in the third. Well, Canada is in trouble as it attempts to defend its World Junior Championship here in the 1986 tournament at the Copps Coliseum in Hamilton.
Well, the pressure should now be on the shoulders of Beloshakin, the Soviet goalkeeper. Lots of experience, as we had mentioned. The Canadians are going to try and pour it on now. They're trailed by 2.
Centering pass, nobody in position, and the Soviets, Konstantinov, picks it up off the boards and dumps it down the ice. Sylvain Cote back into his own zone, trying to get it out of there. He's checked at the blue line by Kravchuk, and the Canadians are forced back into their own zone. Conroy, who was slowed down with a tremendous hit earlier, is back out there for the Canadian team. Now Viasmaikin in across the line. He's flipped to the fence, going in! Holds on to it, he scores! Beautiful move by Viasmaikin. And now you know why he is considered one of the outstanding under-20 players in the world.
He was supposed to be the pride of the new generation of hockey players before he fell into disfavor of drinking too much, to tell the truth. Here he shows why, Don. Sensational play, quick speed, quick feet. He makes the play. He held onto the puck. Actually, when he scored, he tried to put it up over top of Billington. He puts it underneath him, but that's certainly the crushing blow as far as Canada's hopes go. What a sensational play. A talented hockey player.
Number 16, Igor Viasmaikin.
Viasmaikin, an assistant tally, making it a 4-1 hockey game. And here's another look at it.
Just watch the speed, how he turns it on. He's got talent, immense talent. Look at the feet, how he balances his way through. Now he holds on to it. He knows where he is. Now he just tries to get it up over top. Got lucky, it went underneath.
At the side of the Canadian net there, the Soviet net, they jam away, and Beloshakin comes out of the goal to fall on top of it and hold it for a face-off. 2 Soviet goals in 1 minute and 56 seconds have put Terry Simpson's team in deep trouble.
Well, they talked about what weaknesses a very strong Canadian club may have, and it was back on defense, and 2 breakaway goals sort of tell the story, Don. That last goal split the defense right through the middle. Look at the balance and the skill level of that Russian hockey player. He gets the job done. Great individual effort. That is a lot of talent and a sensational goal.
Well, in the game between Canada and the United States, we alluded to the fact that Canadians were concerned as to how they would play defensively, and really nothing in that game to allay the concerns of Coach Terry Simpson and Michel Parizeau.
You see here, Don, the Canadians are controlling the corners here somewhat. Now, every time they've had the puck deep, they've been able to do that, but it just simply hasn't been that often that they've had the puck deep.
Loose puck! Racing in from the point, and somehow Beloshakin got a glove on him.
Well, he should look at his other hand. He might find a ham sandwich. I don't know if that's skill or luck. And any goaltender would tell you there's a lot of luck in that save. but he got it done. Selmore Odeline probably just can't believe it. Watch the glove hand, the catching hand of the goalkeeper, Beloshakin. He's only got one chance. Wave at it, get that left hand up in the air, and he snares it out of midair. What? Unbelievable. Unbelievable how he snares it. His legs are trapped. He can't get up and across, so he just waves at it with his catching arm. What a great save. You know, if you really think about it, he had that glove up there, even if it is in desperation, and made the save. Smart play by the goalkeeper, Beloshakin.
At one point last year, he was in something of a slump. And then this year, he went 153 consecutive minutes without allowing a goal. Goes back and the Soviets bring it out. Racing down the left side is Davidov. Davidov tried to go around Sylvain Cote. Cote managed to get it, and he tried to play it to the other side, but it hit the side of the net. He gets it again up to Mellanby. Mellanby loses it in the center ice area to Kovalev. It's fired back into the Canadian zone, and an icing call as Cote touches the puck.
From Georgetown, the final score.
Well, we look at the experienced Russian players, Soviet players. Galchenyuk, another one of them. The experience has really come to tell a story here in the third period, Don. The Canadians have not had many real good scoring chances. Again, the Soviet Union keeping them to the outside. We tried to talk to the trainers today for the Soviet Union, and they said they didn't speak any English. And then once we showed them a couple of pins and a couple of pictures, we traded for some information. Not bad English at all, was it?
Not bad at all. Conroy from the faceoff tried to get a shot away. His stick was tied up. The puck comes to the line and is deflected out into the center ice area. Conroy for Kartner. Kartner looking for Murphy. The pass too far for him. Going back after it. Selyanin plays it up long for Diaz-Mekin. It's deflected out into the center ice area. We're approaching the midway point of the third period. The Soviets leading by a score of 4-1. Konstantinov shooting it into the corner. It goes around to the other side now to Roberts. Roberts dumps it down the ice, and going back after it is Selyanin. Selyanin plays it off the boards back into the Canadian zone. They almost got caught on that defensive change there. Now it's Murphy breaking down the right side. It's hooked away from him by Fedotov. He whips it around to the other side to Hyderov. He pokes it free to Seamak. Seamak fakes the shot against Odeline. Now feeds it out into the slot. He couldn't get the shot away. Fedotov gets it back to Tatarinov. His weak shot is knocked down in front and brought back by Stapleton, or Sandlak. Sandlak couldn't go anywhere. It's fed over to Viveros, and he fires it down into the Soviet zone. Sandlak in the corner fighting for it, gets it loose to Nieuwendyk. Nieuwendyk looking for someone out front. Tried to center it. It did not get through the crease to Sandlak, and it's dumped down the ice. Billington way out of his net. He makes the save, and then at the blue line plays it to the Soviet line. The puck is fired by Tatarinov deep into the Canadian zone. He was looking at that wide open net. It would not have counted, however, as a Soviet player was trapped inside the blue line. Well, the Soviets are 8 minutes and 59 seconds away from taking the gold medal from Canada in the World Junior Championship. Terry Simpson's game plan, John, I thought was well conceived. He wanted his forwards to go out, go in deep, muscle the Soviet team. He felt if he was going to win this game, the forwards would do it. However, in the third period, it seems that the Soviets are the stronger team.
But you know, what happens here, Don, is their skill of moving the puck quickly. The Canadians can't get in there and do that severe checking.
Robitaille into the slot, a shot, and Beloshakin was way out of the net to make the save. Cote at the line managed to keep it in, but now it's brought out by the Soviets. Stapleton has it poked away at the line. Break wide pass now for Mellanby. And back is for Chuk, who takes it to the board. Stapleton digs it out for Mellanby. Back to the point. Cote with the shot right on. And that is backhanded wide by Robitaille. Robitaille trying to work out from behind the net. Having difficulty there with Nikitin. Nikitin comes up with the puck. He plays it off the boards and down the ice. Racing back after it is Cote. He gets there just ahead of Kamensky and plays it off the boards to Kartner. Kartner looking for Murphy on the left side. It was too far for him, but he managed to chase after it into the corner. Murphy now back to the line. Odeline moving in. A shot saved. Rebound. And Robitaille in the slot. Unable able to get good wood on it, and Beloshakin pounced on the loose puck, and again, some pushing in front of that Soviet goal.
Well, you think that first goal in a hockey game by Team Canada, scored by Corson, Beloshakin went down on a bad angle shot. It was a bad rebound, basically a bad goal. But I'll tell you, that Beloshakin's been hot here in the third period, made some good saves, experience starting to show. Watch how he recovers. He's going to make another save, even though he goes down a lot. That's the Tretiak style, and we mentioned he was tutored by Tretiak. He's had 123 shots in the tournament. 123 saves and 131 shots, 8 goals against. That's pretty hot goaltending. Save percentage up around .935. That's great in any league.
Well, as a goaltender, perhaps you could comment on the style of Beloshakin bouncing down to his knees, much like Tretiak.
Well, Tretiak, and maybe go back and look at the National League. People like Grant Fury used to play, still plays that way. Tony Esposito. But he's playing fairly calculated goal right now, not taking many chances, dropping at the right time, playing the percentages fairly well.
The shot from the point did not get through. The Soviets dump it out to the center ice area. It seems right now, John, that the Soviets, with a 3-goal lead, quite content simply to dump it out of their own zone when Canada applies pressure.
You're right, John. They're not taking many chances at all, trying to fire the puck up the boards, not up the middle. The draft, of course, the main dream of most of these players on all the junior teams. In Canada, the National League draft last year, 59 players were drafted from the Ontario League, 43 from the Western League. Whoa, Sweden does it to West Germany. They get the shutout. Going back to the draft, 15 from the Quebec League, 20 from U.S. colleges, 48 from U.S. high schools, 30 internationally. That's down 10 from the year before, and 37 from other leagues such as Tier 2. So that's the breakdown in the 85 draft.
Well, I think every scout from a National Hockey League team is in attendance here at the Copps Coliseum for this World Junior Tournament.
Every one of them had an immense respect for the Soviet team. They knew they wouldn't fold at all.
Here's a 2-on-1 break. In across the line. And it's deflected high at the goal mouth. They jam away. Galchenyuk took that pass from Kovalev. And it deflected high, but Billington managed to keep it out. 7:07 remaining in the third period. Nikitin breaks it up at the line. Again, Kovalev coming in, letting a shot go high off the glass. It's loose behind the goal, and Viveros has it for Canada and dumps it out of the zone.
Terry Simpson has Murphy up on the line with Corson and Sandlak trying to get something going. They know Murphy's a goal scorer.
Now, it's Pote playing it ahead to Conroy. Conroy, a long shot. Beloshakin out of his net to play it after making the save. Roberts bumps into the Soviet player, but it's fed over onto a left wing and brought out by Nikonov. Nikonov in across the line, falls, still controls it, flips it to the corner, and Kartner is back for Canada. 6:23 remaining in this third period. The gold medal battle. If the Soviets win, they will claim the gold. Canada will still wind up with the silver, regardless of what happens in the game on Saturday. At the line, Kartner falls, manages to poke it. And the Soviets are unable to get it out as there's going to be a penalty here. Roberts stepped into the Soviet player, Seamak, and Canada will be shorthanded with 6:01 remaining in the third period. So the hopes of Canada winning a second straight gold medal certainly look bleak with only 6:01 remaining. It's a first-round draft choice in 1984 by the Calgary Flames, who plays for the Ottawa 67s, is in the penalty box.
Well, the stern coaching of Vasilyev has his team in pretty good position here. We were quite surprised the way he yelled and screamed at his players in practice this morning, but they've certainly responded. They say he wants to be liked by his players, but they don't think it's going to work out. It doesn't matter. His team is winning.
Very authoritative coach, disciplinarian, and he certainly was yelling and shouting and grabbing some of his players this morning when they made mistakes in the workout. The puck gloved ahead by the Soviet player, resulting in a whistle with 5:41 remaining in the third period.
There's been 18 minutes of penalties in this game. Canadians have 14 of the 18. Soviets the remaining 4. It's told a bit of a story. The Canadians having to spend a lot of time killing penalties.
And And this is one time when they can ill afford to be killing off a penalty, trailing by 3 goals late in the third period.
The Soviets also have the one power play goal, that by Semak.
That was the go-ahead goal or the tying goal, I should say, in the first period. Now it's Odeline in his own zone. He plays it off the boards, kept in there by Fedotov. Now Osipov moving right in, backhand shot, and Billington makes the save. Stapleton comes up with the puck and lugs it out for Canada.
Billington made a good save. He stayed square to the puck that time, Don. Moved across with his body instead of lunging feet first. Made a real good save.
Last year, of course, in the battle between the Soviets and Canada in the World Junior Tournament in Turku, Finland, Billington shut out the Soviet Union by a score of 5-0. Here's Meekin back in his own zone. Plays it over to Tatarinov. He shoots it into Canadian territory, ice against the Soviet Union.
Well, for the Canadian players, their dream seems to be slipping away right now. Just 4:35 left. Terry Simpson had his club well prepared, but the Soviets, with that experience of 10 returning players, they almost looked like they used last year's tournament to try and prepare for this tournament with all the youth they went with, Don. The Canadians were strong. But I tell you, discontentment will be on a lot of those kids' minds right now. They came here with one thing in mind, and that was a gold medal, and it's a tough time of the game right now to try and keep that concentration level there.
Carter with a blast from the face-off. Beloshakin had to make the save. Yes, 1985 was not a good year for Soviet hockey internationally, including the World Junior Championship, the World Tournament. They lost the Izvestia. Lead pass over on the right side, and Nikonov tried to jam it right at the goal mouth. Billington stood his ground, and it came back to the line. Now it's dumped in and fired out with just 4 seconds remaining in the penalty to Gary Roberts. Puck is dumped in by the Soviets as Canada is back at full strength. Just 3:56 remaining in the hockey game. Conroy grabbed that loose puck and fired at the length of the ice. This will be icing against Canada with now 3:46 left to play. And the dream of a second straight gold for Canada at the World Junior level is rapidly disappearing. Remaining in the third, we remind you that the National and the Journal will be seen in Ontario and the rest of Eastern Canada immediately following the hockey game at its regular time, Manitoba and other Western provinces. Team Canada now trying to go to the attack, but the Soviets won't let them. They have been defending well in their own zone, and they have been dishing out some pretty good body checks themselves, while Canada administered most of the heavy blows in the first period. Now Semak in across the line, trying to get it back to the point to Nikonov. Too far for him, and Fedotov has to go back into his own zone with 3 minutes remaining. Osipov ahead to Semak. They're looking for that breakaway pass as the Canadian team is pressing.
Semak is one smart player. He puts himself into the open right up in that center ice area, and they look for him.
Hammered into the boards by Sandlock in his own zone. And he's a little groggy as he heads to that Soviet bench. He took a tremendous hit along the board. Now it's Fedotov trying to get it out, kept in by Canada. Moylan back to the nets. Stoppage in play as they fall on top of that puck with 2:27 remaining. The executive producer of our World Junior Tournament coverage is Bob Moyer. Today's game produced by Arthur Smith. And our director tonight, Ron Harrison. Our isolation director, Wayne Moss. And these are some of the other people who have assisted in bringing you our live CBC television coverage of the game against the United States, this game against the Soviet, and will be on hand Saturday for the game against Czechoslovakia. Stapleton trying to spin around to get a shot away. It went wide. Now Mellanby is taken in against the boards by Konstantinov. They continue fighting for it, and finally the whistle blows. Nothing in the stoppage in play with 2:11 remaining in the game.
Then the Soviet player down as Robitaille cross-checked him in the neck from behind. The player went down. I'm not real sure who it is. It may be Krachuk, but I'm not sure what the number was. Yeah, I think it's number 5, Don. Krachuk. You know, the Canadians' record in junior play since '77, 2 wins, 6 losses, and 1 tie. Both those wins resulted in gold medals, both by shutouts. Watch Robitaille come in from behind on number 5, Krachuk. There's the cross-check. We just missed it. As he gives it to him. Now Sandlak, boy, does he hit Osipov. Boy, does he nail him. Osipov, he saw stars after he got thumped there. He got up and he had spaghetti legs on one big body check. But the Soviets are in control. Look at Osipov there. You can see where his legs simply went out from underneath him as he was seeing stars for sure.
However, he's going to be seeing gold in about 2 minutes and 8 seconds because the Soviet Union is in total control of this hockey game, leading by a 4-1 margin. Now Laxdal cutting in on the right side, unable to carry through, and the puck is brought out into the center ice area by Galchenyuk. He winds up, toe save, the rebound, and Kovalev was unable to get a shot away. 1:43 remaining. Lead pass, too far for Laxdal. Parker races deep into the corner, centered it, but Galchenyuk was there to pick it up. Galchenyuk for the Soviets at the blue line lets a blast go. The puck was up on edge and it hit the glass behind goaltender Craig Billington. 1:24 remaining. The puck cleared out into the center ice area. Tatarinov is back for the Soviet Union. Very skilled Soviet defender, and he let a blast go that went high over the glass and up into the crowd here at the Cox Coliseum.
Don, we talked about many times tonight the experience of Beloshakin. He played for the Soviet Union in the Izvestia tournament just before Christmas. Canada was represented by the Olympic team, coached by Dave King. And this man is just a youngster, 20 years old, played and represented his country in that tournament. They lost to Czechoslovakia in the final game, but for that gold medal. But still, the experience has really shown for that Soviet goalkeeper here in the third period.
Well, the Soviet Union is certainly getting 1986 off to a good start in international hockey with this gold medal win. The puck knocked down by Beaverov, way out of the net to make the save is Beloshakin, and he pokes it away again. Here's a 3-0 break for the Soviets. Beacon hit the goal post. With 52 seconds remaining. The Canadian team, all 5 skaters deep in that Soviet zone, and now there's some shoving going on as Billington felt that he was high stick there by Torgayev.
Torgayev was in behind him. Billington skated out of the goal crease and controlled the puck. And I think the emotions here are getting to the Canadians. It wasn't a bad play. It was a little bump, nothing serious whatsoever. It's frustration and it's showing for the youth of junior players, and it's going to show, but there was nothing serious whatsoever.
Well, I believe Vasiliev was quoted as saying that he thought his team could take advantage of the very high emotional level of play of the Canadian team.
Well, maybe that's why they were taking so many dives, because that even upset the fans here in attendance. United States with a big win over Switzerland in Niagara Falls.
11-3, the final score in that game for the U.S. Again, we remind all CBC viewers in Ontario and Eastern Canada that the National and the Journal will immediately follow the game. The National and the Journal will be seen at the regular time, Manitoba West. 42 seconds remaining. The Soviets en route to their 6th straight victory. In across the line comes Murphy. Murphy trying to get it across. He was looking in front of the net for Stapleton, and Krachuk fell in front of it, blocking the pass. Did not get through. 25 seconds remaining in the game. The only 2 times Canada has won the gold, they have shut out the Soviet Union in round-robin play. This year, the Soviets will win the gold by defeating Canada. It looks as though it will be a final score of 4-1, although Robitaille is still digging for that puck, trying to center it, but now it's dumped down the ice, and that will do it. The Soviets have won the gold medal. great saves. He continued throughout the game as the Canadian team attempted to apply pressure.
That's 7 gold medals in 10 years of his junior tournament for the Soviet Union, and their skills certainly shown here. A very well played, well executed game for the Soviet Union.
No disgrace for the Canadian team, however. They played a very strong hockey game, and the Canadian team, winners of the gold last year, will have to settle for the silver here in Hamilton.
The Copps Coliseum in Hamilton, Canada took a 1-0 lead in the first period on a goal by Shane Corson, but that was it. The Soviets full value for the victory, and once again for the official closing ceremonies, the public address announcer here in Hamilton, Paul Babbage.
Ladies and gentlemen, Labatt's Breweries of Ontario and Esso Petroleum Canada Limited are pleased to co-sponsor Player of the Game Awards for the 1986 World Junior Hockey Championship. Mesdames et messieurs, la brasserie Labatt Limitée d'Ontario et la division des pétroles Esso Canada sont heureux de parrainer les trophées du meilleur joueur du match. To assist with the presentations of tonight's awards, pour aider avec les présentations, Jim Steele, Labatt's, et Jim Robinson, Esso Retailer from Burlington. Player of the Game Awards were selected by Sélection du joueur du match par Jack Ferguson, OHL Central Scouting System. Tonight's Player of the Game for Team Canada, presented by Jim Robinson, Esso Retailer. Le joueur du match pour l'équipe Canada, présenté par Jim Robinson, d'Esso. Number 9, numéro 9, Shane Corson.
Disappointment etched on the face of this young man who plays for the Hamilton Steelhawks. Last year, of course, he had the thrill of winning the gold medal as he was one of 4 members of the Canadian squad that won in Finland.
Jim Steele, Labatt's. Number 9, numéro 9, Alexander Simak.
Well done for Simak. This is his 3rd World Tournament. This is the first time in this tournament where he's won the Player of the Game. For Corson, that's the 2nd time in this tournament. Sandlak has won it twice. But that man had a goal and assist. Played super for their hockey club. Showed a lot of speed. Their whole club did, actually. Simak put a show on. Very deserved winner of the Player of the Game for the Soviet Union.
The 3rd tournament for Simak. He has now 2 golds and a bronze medal for his efforts in World Junior Championship play.
We stand for the playing of the Soviet Union national anthem. Mesdames et messieurs, veuillez-vous lever pour l'hymne national de l'Union soviétique.
Weekend. Can Peter Verensberger win again to assume the World Cup downhill lead? Schladming holds the answer.
And just a reminder, in addition to men's skiing today, Ken Reed will join us following Hockey for the Reed Report. The entire Sports Weekend show will be anchored from here in Hamilton today. We're on the air for the next 4 hours, so pull up a chair, enjoy some good hockey and some good skiing. Once again, let's go upstairs to Don Whitman and John Davidson.
Thank you, Brian. And Terry Simpson, who on Thursday night suffered his first loss in this tournament, getting his troops fired up for this tournament finale against Czechoslovakia.
Can Peter Verensberger win again to assume the World Cup downhill lead? Schladming holds the answer.
And just a reminder, in addition to men's skiing today, Ken Reed will join us following Hockey for the Reed Report. The entire Sports Weekend show will be anchored from here in Hamilton today. We're on the air for the next 4 hours, so pull up a chair, enjoy some good hockey and some good skiing. Once again, let's go upstairs to Don Whitman and John Davidson.
Thank you, Brian. And Terry Simpson, who on Thursday night suffered his first loss in this tournament, getting his troops fired up for this tournament finale against Czechoslovakia. And the goaltender for Czechoslovakia is Landsman.
Jaroslav Landsman, the 20-year-old Don from Czechoslovakia. He's played in all 7 games. His win-loss record is 3-2. In fact, he's played all but 1 period this tournament for the Czechoslovakians. Craig Billington getting his start for the last game this year for the Canadians. A big day for Craig, because will he be going back to the New Jersey Devils? He doesn't know. Maybe only the Devils know, so he wants to have a good, strong outing here.
Nico Toman of Holland is the referee, and the linesmen are the same as they were for the game against the Soviet Union. Jeff Schall of the United States and Hidenori Nakahaka of Japan. Yuri Ustra, the 47-year-old coach of the Czechoslovakian national team, came into the tournament with some concerns, particularly with his team's defensive play. From the face-off, it's deflected into the center ice area. Team Canada gaining possession. Shane Corson, who plays for the Hamilton Steelhawks, driving it into the corner, picked up by Sandlak. He tried to get it back out front to Corson. Corson does get it, the rebound, and Sandlak tried to jam it, and Landsman came up with the first good save of the game.
The big line for Canada starting strong. They're much stronger physically, Don. They should win the battles in the corners. I think Sandlak hit the goalpost on that play.
Loose puck at the side of the net. Landsman covers up and holds it for the face-off.
One thing we see in these Czechoslovakian goaltenders we've seen so far in this tournament is they love to freeze the puck a lot. Sometimes they'll skate out of their net 10 or 12 feet, Don, and then try and freeze it up. In the Western world type of game, they would be sent for a delay of game penalty, but that's the style that they use, and boy.
Shane Corson shares the tournament scoring lead as far as the Canadian squad is concerned with Joe Murphy, each with 13 points. And Shane Corson was a member of Canada's gold medal winning team a year ago in Finland, one of 4 players on this 1985-86 edition of the team. From the face-off, Duras dumps it into the corner. The Czechs having some problems getting out of there as Kron is tied up. Duras comes in to help out. Duras trying to kick it free, having difficulties getting his stick on it. Now it goes back to the net. Kapusta digs it out for the Czechs. A long lead pass, too far for Kron. There will be no icing as Billington is forced to make the save. Viveros behind his own net, flips it up on the wing. Dumped into the center ice area. And Kralik is back there to break it up for the Czechs, and as it's brought in by Canada, it's an offside call.
The other leading scorer besides Shane Corson is Joel Murphy for the Canadians. He too has 13 points. He's a graduate of the Howie Meeker Hockey Schools. He spent a lot of his younger years with Howie learning the skills. Joe Murphy, you know, something interesting about when he came to this tournament, he had been catered to get him to go down to various colleges. They didn't cater to him here at all, and he's responded in a very manly way and played well for this club.
We've played 1 minute and 10 seconds of this opening period. Canada has carried the play from the opening faceoff. Now the Czechs break out of their own zone. Pass on the right side for Tukal. He drops it back to Kuchera. Into the corner. Kuchera trying to work up. Takes the shot, and it's deflected over top of the Canadian net. Moylan back of his own goal. Moylan wearing sweater number 17. His number 5 jersey was stolen from the Canadian dressing room this morning.
That play by Kuchera, you have to remember, the European players play their off wings a lot. When he shot the puck from that right side, it appeared like it was a bad angle done, but actually he was a left-handed shot. It was a good angle shot, and Billington had to be sharp.
Pavonka manages to keep it in. Now Karkner takes over for the Canadian team. And he goes to the attack, driving it down into the Czechoslovakian zone. They try and center it for Robitaille. It deflected to the other corner. Back at the line, Karkner with a shot. It goes wide. Kastak finds an opening, dumps it into the center ice area. Bolek for the Czechoslovakian squad shoots it in. Billington kicks that one to the corner, and Scott Mellanby for Team Canada wheels it out on the left side to Robitaille. He has it knocked off his stick. Going back after it is Medrick loses it to Robitaille right out in front. Robitaille had his stick lifted and could not get a shot away. Intercepted at the line. That clearing attempt directed wide of the net by Cote. Now it comes out front again. Mellenby with a shot as he spun around and let the drive go. Landsman made the save, and it's poked back at the net and out to the blue line.
Don't see the Canadians control that front of the net. The Czechs aren't strong enough to move those Canadian players.
Ewendyke trying to get it out front to Mellenby. Now it comes back to the line. Beveros with a shot, and that hit the goalpost. It may have hit both of them as it got by Landsman and went off one and then off the other. Another blast from the point. The save by Landsman. Here's another drive by Beveros. That did not get through, and it's dumped down the ice by the Czechs. And this will produce an icing call. Good pressure in the early going by the Canadian team.
It was a real good shift for Robitaille, Mellenby, and Stapleton. They did the job in front of that net. They didn't score, but they certainly did some good fine work. The Canadians forechecking well, scoreless here in the first. 6'1", 195 pounds, playing his hockey at the University of Wisconsin. Very aggressive in the corners and in front of the net, Don, and that's the action that they want to see.
Sandlak from the face-off took the shot. Landsman makes the save.
In the goals against department, Don, the Czechs have only given up 17 goals, the Canadians 16, but the big difference is the goals for. Canada scored 51 and the Czechoslovakians just 27. So this Landsman, his goal average is good, his save percentage is real good at .906. He looks tough so far. It looks good in there.
16-16, the time remaining in this first period. It's still scoreless. Loose puck in the corner. Kolar beats it around to the other side. Clearing attempt is knocked down by the Canadian team. There's going to be a penalty, I believe, against the Team Canada captain, Jim Sandlak.
It's going to be an interference penalty, and the goal net got knocked off its mooring, so I think he skated right through that goal crease, bumped somebody.
So with 16:05 remaining in this opening period, Czechoslovakia will have a power play.
Game. First one for Canada. Interference. Watch him skate through the goal crease. He'll push that Czechoslovakian player into the goalkeeper, and that's why he gets the interference penalty. The puck was way out. There, it just came into play. Now, Pivonka has 3 of the 5 Czechoslovakian power play goals. He's number 20. And the Canadians have 2 shorthanded goals thus far in the tournament.
Kuchera, lead pass for Hodek. It bounces off the end boards. And it's going to be an icing call against the Czechoslovakian team.
You'll see there where they dump the puck in, Don, and it's something that the Canadians are aware of. They're trying to hold the wingers up, give their defensemen a chance to control it. The Czechs shot it in from their side of the ice, from center ice, and that's why the icing. The Czechs play 5-man units a lot, too. They don't have any special power play unit at all. In fact, Pivonka hasn't even been on the ice for the power play yet.
1:37 remaining in the penalty to Sandlak. Long shot. Billington makes the save. Sylvain Cote attempts to clear. Kept in by Tupal. It goes into the corner. Kuchera back of the net. Bumped by Cote. Resnicek keeps it in at the point. He gets it back again. Over to the other side to Kralik. Kralik fakes the shot. Fed Lubina. Lubina to Kuchera. Back to Kralik to the other side. Resnicek's shot is blocked by Stapleton. He takes it to the boards. He and Tupal are fighting for it there. Kuchera also comes in, and they tie it up for a face-off with 1:01 remaining in the penalty.
Good work up high by both Stapleton and Mellenby to force those Czechoslovakian defensemen. There's a look at the Czechoslovakian star. He played for the world champion team that played, actually on that Czechoslovakian team that played in the tournament, the World Championships last year in Prague when they beat the Canadians in that final game. Pivonka is a good young player, the pride of Czechoslovakia.
Resnicek with a blast from the point. It doesn't get through. A directed pass from Kralik by Pivonka, and Billington got a piece of that one. Now it comes back to Resnicek. He lets his shot go. It's blocked by Conroy. And finally it's deflected into the center ice area. Resnicek back for the Czechs. He has it poked away by Conroy at his own line. And Pivonka retreats into his own zone, trying to regroup and set something up with 30 seconds remaining in this man advantage. Pivonka takes the pass to Bullock on the right side. He he has it poked away by Odeline. It comes to the point to Resnicek. He gives it off to Pavonka. Pavonka tried to play it into the corner. Odeline was there to break it up, but he couldn't get the puck out. Now Bullock going for the net. Tries to slide it through. It's cleared by Billington. Centered again. Nobody in position. Picked up by Bullock. Back to the line. Now it's Pavonka. Pavonka on the far side. They score! As Kuchera, I believe, was cutting in behind the play. Or make that Kastak who was cutting in behind the play and knocked it in.
I'll tell you, let's talk about the pass from Pavonka. Now he fakes the shot, spots his teammate coming in on an open seam way on the other side, and Billington was outplaying Pavonka so far that he couldn't get across to make the save done. What a beautiful play this is to get it across. Even though the pass wasn't right on the stick, he made the right play, and Billington was way out playing Pavonka. Now there again is that idea of Pavonka, a left-handed shot over on that right side. The goaltender has to go out and be aware of them because they create better shooting angles by playing the off wing.
So Kastak gives the Czechs the go-ahead goal on the power play in the first period. Canada gaining possession in that Czechoslovakian zone. Murphy with a weak shot that's knocked down in front. The puck goes loose and slides through the goal mouth. Bond's on his way out of there to hold it for a faceoff.
That's what I was talking about, Don, as we take a look at the goal score. That's what I was talking about those goalkeepers. They skate way outside the goal crease, jump on the puck with nobody around them, and they get away with it. Kastak gets his third goal of the tournament at 5:54. Ends up being a power play goal by 1 second.
Pavonka and Resnicek drawing assists on that goal. 13:36 remaining in this first period. 1-0 the Czechs leading Canada. Canada steals the puck. Murphy with a shot. And it is blocked by Mantle. The puck goes to the corner. Murphy trying to dig it out there. He's having some problems with the Czech defender. Duras comes in to help out. Duras tried to give it back to Murphy. It got away from him. And the Czech fired to the line, but not out. And then it's dumped down the ice, and racing back after it is Cote. Cote almost had that one go off the side of the Canadian net onto a Czechoslovakian player's stick. Greenlaw moves back of his own goal, coming up the right side. The 17-year-old who was with the Olympic program gets in across the line and is finally knocked off the puck, but it comes back to the point. Kept in there by the Canadian team. Mellanby out front, and Stapleton could not get a good shot away. Now Mellanby gets it again along the boards, having problems there with two Czechs. Babina is in there for Czechoslovakia. They do some bumping and take it deeper into the Czechoslovakian zone. Finally, Kuchera comes up with it and clears it into the center ice area. On the right side now, here is Hodel flipping a shot, and it's deflected right to the goal mouth, and Billington just managed to get a piece of that one and knock it away. Back to the net. Kastak, who scored that power play goal, tried to center it. It went off the side of the net, and it's cleared out to center ice by Team Canada. 12:08 remaining in this first period. It's 1-0 for Czechoslovakia.
Now the players that don't play regular shifts for the Czechoslovakians, they stand behind the bench, they take their helmets off, their gloves off, and relax. Best seats in the house, I guess, to watch the game.
Back into his own zone is Medrick for Czechoslovakia. Dumped out into the center ice area, intercepted by Laxdal of Team Canada. However, he couldn't penetrate deep into that Czechoslovakian zone, and it's played back into the center ice area. The Czechs waiting for their mates to get onside. It's stolen away by the Canadian team. Pass, however, intended for Robitaille, went off his stick, and the Canadians have to regroup. Brought in now by Odeline. Pass on the right side. Conroy with the shot. It just goes wide. Back comes Czechoslovakia. Czechs led in across the line by Bolek. Bolek took the hit there. Liberos then lost the puck. Picked up by the Canadian player Robitaille, looking for Conroy. Intercepted by Labina and fired deep into the Canadian zone. Billington had to make the save. Up on the wing, Conroy having problems getting out of there. Cron took a shot that did not quite get through. Kapusta was in front of the net, attempting to deflect it.
Now, this game's only 10 minutes old, but the Czechoslovakians seem to be getting a little more confident as time wears on here. The first 5 minutes were inside that Czech zone. Now a lot more neutral zone play. The Czechs are getting stronger, I think.
Zaruba having problems with Conroy in the corner. It comes back to the point. Liberos with a shot that goes wide. Conroy in the corner, centering it. Backstall at the side of the net, couldn't move out front. It goes back of the goal, and the Czechs gain possession with 10:23 remaining in this opening period. It's Kron coming down the right side. He's upended by Terry Kartner. Kartner in the corner, trying to move out against Kapusta, and he just to come up with the puck. There's an injured Czechoslovakian player in that Canadian zone. Roberts for Kartner over on the right side. Cote plays it back at the net. Finally, as it's touched by Kolar of Czechoslovakia, with Lipovsky down in that Canadian zone, there is a whistle. We're at the 10-minute mark of the opening period. Czechoslovakia leading 1-0. Roman Lipovsky is the player who was down in the Canadian zone and has now gone to the Czechoslovakian bench.
So the trainers are going to get a lot of work here again. The Russian trainers, somebody, was it John Robertson that wrote the Toronto Sun that the Russian trainers should, or the Soviet trainers should have been the MVP for getting those players back on the ice like magic.
Puck comes back to the line. Played over to Kartner. Kartner couldn't get a good shot away. Lead pass as the Czechs break out. Kuchera trying to slide it across for Kolar. Kolar had it just a little too far ahead of him and couldn't make a play. Kuchera intercepts again. Quick release by Kapusta. Loose puck in front of the net. And it's taken back to the goal by the Canadian team. Up to the line, and Nieuwendyk has some problems there as he is bodied, attempting to move into the neutral zone.
That Topol nearly scored on a rebound. Kartner had him in the corner and let him go.
Here's Nieuwendyk breaking in, a shot, save, rebound, and another save as the Czechoslovakian goalie had two big stops. First off Nieuwendyk and then off Jim Sandlak. And again, the net is knocked off its moorings with 9:11 remaining in this opening period, resulting in a stoppage of play and a face-off in the Czech zone. The face-off to the left of Landsman. As the Czech played it up along the boards. Kept in at the point by Cote, now poked out by the Czechs. They break in, a 2-on-1 break. Bullock takes the shot and goes wide. Puck comes back out front, picked up there by Greenlaw for Canada. Greenlaw adds to Moylan. Moylan along the boards, lost it. Brought back in by Bullock. Bullock drops it back for Bonta to Bullock, and it was behind him, and he had an open net as the Czechs drew that puck around in the Canadian zone. Greenlaw working in across the line, drops it off the boards for Murphy. He tried to return the pass, intercepted by Medrick, and it's dumped ahead now to Bullock.
So the Canadians better be aware of those Czechoslovakian players coming in from what they call a back door, the open seams away from the puck side of the ice, where the puck isn't. And the Czechoslovakians nearly had another goal because of a play like that. They have to be aware of their Czechs on the weak side of the ice, Don.
Landsman came way out of his net to play that puck in the corner for the Czechs. Now they come out. Kapusta leading the attack, moving into the slot. Shot is scored!
What a tricky little shot this was. Czechoslovakians with a 2-0 lead. A tricky shot. I believe one of the Team Canada players skated in front just as he shot it and used him as a screen. Billington didn't really react quickly. But when he's stick handling with a puck, he shoots it all in one motion. It's very, very tricky. He cuts in the middle for a better angle. Now watch, he uses the screen right there, and a real tricky shot inside the goalpost. What a fine play that was. Now Billington's out. He's set for the play, but he's handcuffed because he doesn't see it immediately, and he reacts just a split second too late.
So it's 2-0. Czechoslovakia leading Canada as Kartner goes back into his own zone. He cut right out in front of his own net, played it on the boards, and it was picked off there by Tupel. However, Tupel's shot was blocked and cleared into the center ice area. 7:45 remaining in this opening period. It's 2-0. Czechoslovakia leading Canada. Kuchera circling in his own zone. Lubina for Tupel. He puts on the brakes. It's checked by Cote. Kuchera steals it, plays it into the corner. He gets it again. Play is whistled down, and there's going to be a penalty here with 7:25 left in this first period. Lubina will be going off on a slashing call, so Team Canada, trailing by 2, will enjoy the man advantage.
The Czechoslovakians average 10.3 minutes per game. Watch the reaction here. There's a hook first. Now he's going to react and take the slash. 9 goals the Canadians have scored on their power play units. Peter Doris leads the team with 3. The Czechoslovakians have not scored one shorthanded goal all throughout the tournament.
Resnicek along the boards, gets it to Kapusta. He shoots it into the Canadian zone. Sylvain Cote goes back of his own net. Canadian team with the man advantage, trailing by 2. Nieuwendyk in across the line. Nieuwendyk plays it into the slot. Czechoslovakian player Kron was there to intercept the pass and dump it down the ice.
This is hockey game done. The longer it stays that way, the better the Czechoslovakians have a chance of winning.
Centering pass did not get through. Roberts plays it back to the line to Viveros. Viveros back to Roberts. Roberts dumping it into the corner. Nieuwendyk picks it up there for the Canadian team. To the line to Viveros. Viveros dumps it into the corner. 6:32 remaining. Nieuwendyk out front and it popped away from Roberts. Now it's Kron bringing it out to center ice. He plays it off the boards into the Canadian zone and then goes to the bench on the change with 56 seconds remaining in the penalty to Labina. Pavanka gains control, taking it back into his own zone, and the Czechs dump it down the ice. They are doing an effective job in killing off this penalty against Labina, the first Canadian power play of this game. Now it's Murphy. Across the line, going to the boards, tried to get it to Robitaille. Robitaille has to go back to the net. Robitaille looking for someone to pass to, has to leave it back at the net for Murphy. Murphy back to the point. Oderline winds up and deflects off the skate into the crowd.
Oderline being pressured like that, he should have just taken and flipped the puck in instead of trying to take the big slap shot. Canadians don't have that jump. The emotion isn't there that they had the other night. There's the leading power play scorer for the Canadians, and Peter Doris. He has 5 points in the 6 games. He's going to be going back to the Canadian Olympic team. Incidentally, the Canadian Olympic team are going to be coming back from Europe, and they're going to be given a week off. So Peter Doris will have a chance to rest, along with Mr. Greenlaw. He'll take his big body and rest it for a week. He deserves it.
Just 14 seconds remaining in the penalty. Kopovsky plays it off the boards to center ice. Sylvain Cote over to Kartner. Kartner, a lead pass for Robitaille. Robitaille in the wings and throws. He fired it right. Another shot by Murphy. And Landsman came sliding across. He may have got a piece of that one. Penalty is over, and Kartner had difficulty controlling that puck at the blue line, then dumped it in offside.
You know, Don, we talked about the emotions aren't quite there for the Canadians that they had for that Soviet game. You can also see it around the net when they miss scoring chances. Robitaille's a good goal scorer, and he's missed a couple of chances in this first period. When you're not sharp mentally, it also happens around the net. Your skills aren't quite as razor sharp as they should be. Robitaille's been a pretty good round, or a pretty good choice for the LA Kings there. He misses the net. Another miss right there. The Canadians not sharp, even though they've had some pretty good scoring chances.
5:09 is the time left in the period. It's a 2-0 game. In front of deflection, they score! Shane Corson gets Canada on the board. Al Conroy hasn't been drafted,
But he plays with the heart of a lion. Corson gets himself in perfect position, has his stick down on the ice. Conroy hit him with a pass. Look how Conroy is looking up, spots Corson. Nobody checks Corson. And that pass was feathered over top of that defenseman's stick, which is a high-skilled play. Watch him flip the puck over. Right over top it goes on the blade of Corson. The goaltender's deep and in the net. And a big goal for Canada to try and get them going here.
and for Shane Corson, that's his 7th goal of this World Junior Tournament. And Shane Corson comes to the line and steps into Lepovsky. And the Canadian team has not been nearly as aggressive in this game as they have been in other contests. Shot by Kron, dropped in back of the net. Lane Cote having some problems there, loses it to Kapusta. Back to the line, Lepovsky with a shot right on, and Billington makes the save.
We'll take another look at possible of Shane Corson. There he is. What a good positional player Shane Corson is. There was a lot of speculation as to whether he was Canada's best player last game. Watch how he gets himself smartly into position, and Conroy again, yep, talked about the pass. It's right on the blade of the stick, and he feathered it at the same time. Good teamwork for the Canadians.
First round draft choice in 1984 by the Montreal Canadiens, and the general manager
done after the playoffs for his Hamilton Steelhawks are finished with. He hopes to go to Montreal and maybe finish the season there.
4:27 remaining in the opening period. It's a 2-1 game. Czechoslovakia leading Canada as Stapleton goes back into his own zone. Kastak broke it up in the center ice area. The Canadians go back into their own zone to regroup. Lead pass for Robitaille. Robitaille on the right side for Mellanby. Mellanby was tied up as the puck rolled to the goal mouth. Now it goes back of the net. Medrick gets it ahead to Kastak. He was looking for Bullock breaking down that right side. The pass did not get through. Now it's fired in. And Viveros back at his own net. Having problems there, getting away from Kastak. Plays it up along the board. Melody and Kastak tie it up there for a faceoff. 3:48 is the time remaining in the first period with Czechoslovakia ahead of Canada 2-1.
Tiny trouble.
The fourth liners for the Czechoslovakia team. They don't see much action, so they take their helmets off. They take their gloves off. They stand up during the action, enjoying themselves. Not much expression there, but they are enjoying themselves.
Well, the Czechs, like the Soviets, prefer to go with those 5-member attacking units, and they make a complete change every time they do make changes.
Interesting discussions. Terry Simpson's future. Is he going to be back in the Western League in Prince Albert next year? Is he going to take an assistant coaching job someplace in the National League? He doesn't want a head coaching job immediately. He states he'd rather go to a good organization and learn the trades of the National Hockey League. I think that's a smart way to go about things.
Pass on the left side for Greenlaw. Greenlaw runs into Kralik as he dumps it into the corner. Murphy is taken in against the boards back of that Czechoslovakia net. However, he still manages to come up with the puck, try to play it around to Greenlaw, picked off by the Czechs to the line. Cote unable to keep it in there against Kuchera. Now Tuchel has bumped off the puck. It goes loose. Murphy brings it in. And now the Czechs are doing most of the hitting. We anticipated that the Canadian team would come out using the body much the same way as they did against the Americans and against the Soviets.
I think you'll see them get stronger as the game progresses. To get their emotions back at a high level is a tough job. And you can see they certainly aren't. They're not being blown out of this game by any means, Don, but the emotion level is so important.
Well, of course, they were riding such a wave of emotion into that game with the Soviet Union. During our first intermission, Brian Williams will be talking with Al Conroy, the man who assisted on that Canadian goal by Shane Corson. And we'll take a look at some of the players who are now